we didn't have a normal cycle of like a spring buying season and a tailing off from Thanksgiving. We didn't have that.
Yes.
It just continued and continued. And in Atlanta, we saw the same thing. People were more just anxious to buy, anxious to get a home.
Welcome to Sold 100 TV.
Welcome back to Sold 100 TV. My name is Okoye. Today we are privileged to have in our studio one of the top professionals in this industry. Like we promised you, we're going to bring you the best, nothing but the best. All right, so today we do have all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. She agreed, we called and she picked up the phone and said, yes, I will be there. So today, I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Well, hello, Billy. This is such a pleasure to be on the set with you. I'm Sandra Isiguzo, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, broker, owner of Open Doors Realty. Consider myself a boutique brokerage, been in business since 2005. So it's a pleasure to be here.
Wow, 2005. So that must come with a ton of experience, isn't it?
Yeah, you can say that again.
Yeah, so, we love real estate, man. And this
Absolutely.
is what we have passion for. Sandra and I have done a ton of business together. And I do know her business ethics. And again, I happen to see her as one of the best in the industry. Like I promise you guys, only the best will come and answer your questions. So, Sandra, what's the state of the market? What do you see in the real estate world today?
Wow. So I think all over the U.S., what we're experiencing is a sort of cooling off, should I say. We had this huge frenzy that started picking up from about COVID. So right about March 2020, when there was the announcement of a lockdown, real estate did not stop. I think a lot of real estate professionals will agree that it just continued and picked up. We didn't have a normal cycle of like a spring buying season and a tailing off from Thanksgiving. We didn't have that. It just continued and continued. And in Atlanta, we saw the same thing. People were more just anxious to buy, anxious to get a home. Sellers were going crazy. Like they could list or put, something that really wasn't up to par on the market and everybody would go for it and overbid. Now we're seeing a cooling off of that. Prices are a little bit more realistic. Interest rates are higher. Any buyer on the market right now is a serious buyer.
Absolutely. Something, we see something in this market. In our market, in the Washington, D.C. market, we see buyers, taking advantage of the fact that, sellers are not easily able to sell the home. They used to waive home inspection, waive appraisal, but right now we're beginning to see buyers get a full appraisal done.
Right.
Do home inspection, have the sellers make repairs for the home.
Right.
So if you guys are looking, guys, this is the best time now to come back in.
Absolutely.
And then squeeze the stone. I bet you get some water out of the stone when you do.
Now, were you encouraging or seeing that agents were allowing buyers to say, hey, forget about the appraisal, forget about the inspection, or?
No, it wasn't really. Buyers are saying multiple offer situations.
Right.
When you have a multiple offer situations, what do you do to make your own offer get accepted, be the best offer on the table?
Right.
I mean, everybody's offering $20,000 more. The seller is going to go with the one that is going to give them less stress to go to closing.
Absolutely.
So it's out of 22 offers. We did write an offer in early May. It was 22 offers on one house that we got listed.
Wow.
Yes, our seller was happy. He chose the one that paid him $63,000 more.
Imagine
and waived
that.
Appraisal, waived home inspection.
Wow.
Waived any type of contingency.
Wow.
And it was DTI was almost 47%. So they did make out from that market.
Wow.
But again, the market shifting a little bit.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about the interest rate. How is the interest rate affecting your market out in Atlanta?
So buyers are very realistic now because they're not putting so much on the front end in terms of offers. There's some of them are actually making below listing price offers. Like, yes, they're not giving the seller exactly what the seller is asking for, and we've moved away from seller pay closing costs. Now the focus, because of interest rates, is can we buy down this interest rate? And
Correct.
so any kind of concessions from the seller is going towards a buy down, so that the interest rate can be a bit more appealing. I mean, we're almost in the sevens,
Yes.
if you think about it. So it's not an easy place to be for buyers.
Absolutely. I'm glad that you brought up the buy down. There are different types of buy down, and just so our viewers will understand what a buy down is there's a 2-1 buy down, a 3-1. This is where the sellers come in and they offer you a little bit of money to buy the rates down so that your DTI it's not as high. You know,
Right.
you have a little bit of better room to get a better interest rate. And so they buy it down, you know, so your monthly payment is slightly lower. Right? So that's what a buy down is. It's really better in your interest.
Yes, it is.
You know? So yeah. So in our market we see that also.
Okay.
You know? So I'm happy
Okay.
to hear that it's going around the nation.
True,
you know, the buy
true.
down.
If you're trying to get buyers in the door, yes. And also buyers should not forget that if you really need to buy, remember that you can refinance down the road. So it's not a complete lose out.
Yeah.
If you need to be in something and it's affordable for you, then get yourself locked in and then consider doing a refinance down the line. And don't just think of one mortgage product. There could be other mortgage products. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to just stick to one and just say, well, I'm only going to do an FHA or I'm only going to do a conventional.
Okay. So talking about refinance, I always tell my buyers, I say, marry the house and date the rates.
Billy, okay.
Marry the house and date the rate. Because if the house, it's going to be your house. You will always refinance. So date the
The rates,
because
okay.
it could change. Once it goes down, you refinance. Let that one go.
Right,
But
right,
stay in marriage. Basically.
Right,
It's
save
not
for the
a-
house.
It's not a marriage counseling, but stay in marriage.
Okay, I like
know.
that. I like that.
All right. When you guys do home inspection in Atlanta, what is the big thing that you see your buyers looking out for in a home inspection?
Primarily major systems. You're talking about roof, you're talking about foundation, electrical, plumbing. I mean, the things that really can make or break the deal. Nobody wants a house that has foundation issues. They would run, right? If the roof is dated, you're talking about an easy $12,000 to almost $30,000, depending on the size. I'm
Just
giving you
for the
right.
house.
I'm just giving you a very average size home in Atlanta. And then your plumbing systems, is it outdated? Am I going to have to do any kind of electrical updates and plumbing? So when buyers start seeing problems with that, it's red flags, and they want to step away or have the seller address it if the seller hasn't addressed it.
How about environmental issues? I mean,
I would say it depends on the area. Sometimes you might see the huge power lines or power structures, and that gives off red flags again, like why do I want to be in this area? Because you're thinking of resale, right, Billy? Like also in Maryland, I'm sure you're
Yes.
seeing that
Yes.
the resale issues with the buyer saying, I'm going to buy this home now, but when it's time for me to sell, am I going to have an issue because there's a big power structure out nearby?
Yeah, basically, you have the mind. You're going in having the mind of the sellers. What's going to happen when I want to sell it?
Exactly.
But don't forget that the person is selling it now. So if you fell in love with the house now, because
Right.
the house is not going to go anywhere.
Right.
So someone else is definitely going to buy it. Someone
Right.
is going to love it, but you have to upkeep the property.
Absolutely.
And that's going to be our next topic is what are your advices on how do people keep their property up to date? What are those things that need to be doing as a homeowner to keep the value of the property up when it's time to sell?
I would say simple answer: maintenance. Like you cannot afford to defer maintenance on a property. Your property is one of your largest assets. For the average American, it's your first biggest asset, right? It's not your car. It may not be jewelry or art collections. It's
Yeah.
primarily your property. And then as you amass more property, then that portfolio becomes more and more of an asset. So in the primary home, you cannot afford to defer maintenance. So simple stuff like we talked about, like if your systems are good, then you want to keep up with that. Curb appeal never loses value, you know.
Keep those shrubs coming nicely
Keep
in the
those shrubs
summertime.
trimmed,
Power
looking
wash the
pretty.
house in the
Exactly.
summertime.
Power washing, taking care of your lawn, just simple stuff. And then you can always decide to do stuff in the springtime, and then figure out the stuff you need to do during the fall. And just kind of keep up with that schedule and that system. it allows you not to put things off to like, I'll do it next year, I'll do it the year after, and then you start having
Absolutely.
more and more issues.
Absolutely. Now we've done the transaction and we got done home inspection,
Right.
and it's time to get that word that we were looking for clear to close.
Right.
What happens, just walk us through with that. How do you get ready for settlements and what do your clients do in Atlanta?
I'm pretty sure it's similar to what you guys do in Maryland. Once we've got the
I'm
clear
trying
to
to be sure
close,
of that, 'cause we do a lot of here in Maryland.
where Atlanta, I mean, it's every buyer is anxious for that stage as well as every seller because everybody wants to meet at the closing table. So pretty much you want to make sure that all your documents are good to go with the lender. And then at that point, for us, closing attorneys, actually, we use closing attorneys to close in the state of Georgia. Closing attorney represents the best interest of the lender. If it's a cash closing, it represents the interest of the seller, of the buyer, who is the cash buyer. Now everybody comes to meet at the closing attorney's office, docs are signed, settlement statement, which is very important, which shows what the buyer's numbers are and what the seller's numbers are. And
Right.
so there has to be a meeting of the minds and agreement on those numbers. Once that's good, you're pretty much done. Everybody signs, everybody's happy. Buyers get their keys, seller gets their money, they've sold the house. And it's satisfaction for us as the agent that we've met somebody's dream, either for home ownership or in disposing of an asset. So it's a win-win and it's a beautiful thing to see.
Awesome. All right, that's beautiful. Kind of like you said, it's kind of similar to what we do. We go into the settlement knowing that we've done our best, and we're looking at clients and said, we didn't just give you a customer service. We provided for you here at Sold 100. We pride ourselves with customer experience. Because everybody can do customer service. Okay, I need to do it A or by Z, but we take it furthermore, which is customer experience. We do have a free moving truck that we'll give to our clients to use
Awesome.
after settlement.
Got you. Okay.
They also get to use it during, if they're a seller, if they're disposing the property, in which case they are a seller. They get to use, once we sign the listing agreement, they get to use our free moving truck to declutter the house.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So you can show better.
Okay.
And then at the day of settlement, a day before, they would have filled out the form with the front desk, free moving truck at sold100.com. They'll send it in there, they get to use the moving truck. Again, it's for free for the first 24 hours. And the use of that truck automatically registers them to Sold 100 Club. And in that club means that you get to use the truck at any time. I mean, because after you buy a house, you move into a house, you buy furniture. The furniture company say, "Oh, we don't have a delivery team."
Wow.
Just remember, you own a truck, you don't have to maintain. You don't have to. All you gotta do is buy gas.
I don't
But on
believe
the
it.
day of settlement, one of the things we do, we surprise our clients with a box of pizza
Okay.
that they're not expecting. Now they got a moving truck, and the agent that used whichever agent, because we have 25 agents in the office.
Gotcha.
So the truck is based on availability. If it's around, that's why I say please. Once you go on the contract, send an email to freetruck@sold100.com so you can block your moving date. Not unless you don't have the date to move. So
Because that happens sometimes.
yeah, it does happen, and then settlement could get delayed sometimes. But if the settlement is delayed, please send an email back to sold100 freetruck@sold100.com, and just so they can move your date forward.
I really love that idea, Billy. For our relocation clients, we offer them a helicopter tour of Atlanta right after their closing. So we get into the helicopter with them, one of the private helicopters, and we just give them, it's about a 15 to 25-minute ride, and it just shows them the beauty of Atlanta. And it's just a little thrill. It could have been a stressful process, who knows, especially with the last year and a half with COVID, with this frenzy of overbidding. So for those buyers that had to go through that stress and got their offers accepted, we feel like that's just a way to celebrate like what they've just accomplished, and then to show them Atlanta so that it's like, yes, I'm home and I really can settle in this city. So I love that idea though about the moving truck.
I do like the idea of the helicopter ride. Our limitations probably will be because we're in the nation's capital.
Yeah.
So the no-fly zone
So,
thing
right.
is going to affect us. Because
Right.
ideally, we'd like to show you guys the White House. We'd like to show you, but it's okay. I think you'd enjoy the Soul 100 building.
I would.
So that's what we do post settlement. What's your design? What do you guys do with following up with your clients after settlement? Do you just let them go and say to your tent, oh, Israel, or do you have a system of following up? You
Great
know,
question, Billy. I believe my business is really built on referrals, and
absolutely.
so as well as I'm sure yours.
Yes,
And
heavily,
so
100%.
you have to keep in touch with these people. And I find out that we know their birthdays and anniversary dates and
Right.
or anniversary dates. So we reach out to them then. In the meantime, there are little things we know that can come up that they may have forgotten about during the process. For example, filing your homestead exemption on your property
Yep.
taxes. Oh, most of them tend to forget, and
Yep.
so we have a reminder that, hey, don't forget, make sure you file your homestead exemption.
Mhm.
And sometimes we know with that first bill or that first mortgage statement, there might be some confusion. So we reach out to them to say, hey, have you gotten your mortgage statement? Does everything make sense? Do these numbers make sense to you? Remember XYZ, ABC, remember when we talked about this and things
Yes.
like that. So we find out that those touch points helps to put them at ease to say, hey, yes, I am on top of this and I'm following through.
Absolutely. Awesome. And I hear Soda 100 would also reach out to them in January as they start to prepare for filing their taxes.
Okay.
You would imagine sometimes they forget that they need their alter statement
Right.
because they
Okay.
do need that to file taxes. So
Property
that's
debt.
part
Right.
of your closing cost money. You will get it back when they say advantage of being a homeowner. These are things that you get, but of course you have to have great agents like Sandra and
And Billy.
to help you and follow up with you. Some agents will sell you a house and you never get to see them again. But no, we've been in business and would love to stay in contact with you.
Absolutely.
There are other
Absolutely.
things like hanging the frames on the wall, replacing the toilet seats, rekeying the house,
Smoke detectors.
smoke detectors when you're
Right.
under 10 years. There are a lot of things that you need your realtor after the fact.
Very
So
true.
make sure that your realtors are somebody that you can reach out to and put on speed dial at all times. All right. So, well, thank you very much, Sandra.
Well, you're welcome.
Hope your flight back to, well, you might use the SO 100 helicopter to take you back to
Hey,
Atlanta.
I would
But
love that. And speaking of Atlanta, I'd love to welcome anyone who's looking to purchase real estate in the Atlanta area. Open Doors Realty does serve locally within the U.S. and without, meaning any buyers looking to purchase or invest in the Atlanta real estate market, you are welcome to Atlanta. Atlanta is open to you for business. So I'd love to see how I can help you relocate and or invest in the Atlanta market.
awesome. Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
Thank you, guys. So you guys had it. It's here at Soda 100 TV. And if you're looking at Atlanta, you've got your Atlanta contact right here. But if you're looking at the DMV, most people ask, what is DMV? It's DC, Maryland, and Virginia. And like I said, we do have offices in Texas, so we're advancing to Dallas and Houston and Austin market. And this is your hub for all real estate services. Be it investment, you want to know how to flip some houses, you can join our program, the do's and don'ts of flipping homes. If you guys are looking to buy your first home, we do have the first time home buyer training classes going on. If you're already a homeowner and you want to, upgrade or downsize, use our free moving truck. It's out there. Free truck at soda100.com. And like I said, we do have 25 agents in the office to help you sort out. So always going to be somebody very proficient transaction coordinator. And we do have relationship managers who are there to help you guys out in any real estate needs that you may have. Then if you're international and you're looking to do something in the nation's capital, hey, I might take a risk and get you on the helicopter ride.
we're not even started or scratched the surface, should I say. It's our joy and pleasure to always take care of our clients, both within and without. So meaning within the U.S., local United States, and outside of the U.S. for those looking to invest in the real estate market in Atlanta. So yes, absolutely, Billy, you should come on board.
Okay. All right. So thank you very much, guys, for joining us, and click subscribe and stay tuned for more episodes of Sold 100 TV.